No, this is damning. It really is. I got to tell you. You see this quote. Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room. Wow. Wow. Okay.
A'ja Wilson recently made some pointed remarks about her former teammates who moved on in free agency, sparking a lot of conversation throughout the WNBA. At the same time, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are now being recognized as serious championship contenders. What's behind this shift, and did free agency just completely reshape the league? Let's dive in and explore.
Don't get any of that without every single teammate along the way. And I'm so grateful to be able to play with just, and I said it on the broadcast before, just selfless women. They give it their all every single day, and they're their pure selves, and that's what I love the most, and I'm trying not to get emotional.
That clip didn't quite age well, from I love playing with my teammates to it wasn't a championship locker room. Talk about a turnaround. After her entire squad left her in free agency, A'ja finally opened up about it. And true to her style, she didn't hold back, making sure to call everyone out as she moved on. She said, and I.
Quote, it wasn't a championship locker room, Wilson said. I mean, out of the gate, going into training camp, I was like, we ain't got it. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. I always told myself, we're going to get it. We're going to check each box, but we didn't. Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Oh, okay, A'ja. So, what was it then? A daycare? Because last I checked, the Aces had all the talent in the world. But when it was time for people to re-sign, they bolted out of there like their contracts were on fire. What exactly does she mean by not a championship locker room? Is she saying the Aces weren't built to win? Because, well, they did win twice. So is she suggesting that the whole time they weren't really built like that? Because as a fan, I'd be looking at my A'ja Wilson jersey like, wait, so were we frauds this whole time?
For KP and A'ja, just how important has Chelsea been in this matchup for you guys?
Come on, Andy, you know the question for that. You know the answer for that. What do you mean how important? She's our point guard. She's our leader. So, come on now, Andy, you know the answer to that. Chelsea's very important to us.
From saying players are important to, it wasn't a championship locker room. Wow, is A'ja really implying that everyone who left, yes, all of them, just weren't cut out for greatness? Alicia Clark, a veteran and defensive specialist, yep, she bounced. Sydney Coulson, her best friend, left even though she didn't want to. Now, I'm no detective, but when everyone who mattered on the team decides to leave, at some point, you have to look in the mirror and ask yourself, asterisk, am I the problem?
The Las Vegas Aces have lost basically their entire team. Almost their entire team is gone from last year. They've lost basically everyone. If we want to look at the Vegas Aces team from last year, who's still remaining? The MVP, Jackie Young, Chelsea.
So, the Las Vegas Aces have pretty much lost their entire team. Almost everyone from last year is gone. If we're looking at the roster now, who's left? The MVP, Jackie Young, and Chelsea Gray. Because, A'ja, sweetheart, it's getting real lonely over there. You all went from being the cool kids in the cafeteria to sitting at the table in the back where nobody wants to join. You want to talk about not a championship locker room?
Boy, was I in shock when I just read that ESPN has reported that Sydney Coulson is signing with the Indiana Fever. I am so curious about what A'ja Wilson has to say. I can only imagine that it is, very professional. That was not on my bingo card.
That locker room had a major energy shift the minute everyone realized they were just supporting players in the A'ja Wilson show. She's out here collecting MVPs, soaking up all the spotlight and praise, while the rest of the team is just supposed to be thankful to exist in her orbit. But guess what? They weren't feeling it anymore.
Because in comparison to other teams, this is one of the weakest teams there has been. This is genuinely one of the weakest, weakest teams in comparison to other teams that could win a championship. Like, this team is not as good as the Chicago Sky 2021. They have one better player. That might be it. Chicago Sky 2021 was at least deep.
Chelsea Gray was out there saving the Aces' entire playoff run, and yet people still acted like Asia did it all by herself. But nah, all anybody ever talked about was Asia Wilson this, Asia Wilson that. You know what? They got tired of it. So when free agency hit, they did what was best for them. Newsflash, Asia, not everyone wants to spend their career playing second fiddle to someone who just threw them under the bus on the way out. And you know who's really about to feel a pain? Kelsey Plum. Oh yeah, she's gone now too. Poor Kelsey. Imagine waking up one day, looking around the locker room, and realizing that everyone who made you great just disappeared overnight. Asia really thought she was doing something with that not a championship locker room line.
Is a huge thing that you all have to keep in mind is that the Las Vegas Aces do not have a GM right now. They let go of their GM a couple months ago, and they have not put anyone in that place. And so, hey, Nikki Fargas and Becky Hammond are trying to make some wonders without an actual GM. So let's get into specifically what has been happening. So the latest departures for the Las Vegas Aces include 2 heavy hitters off the bench and 2 former 2023 and 2024 Six Players of the Year.
So now what, Asia? Are you going to prove everyone wrong? Are you going to lead this team to another reign with half a roster? Or are we about to watch the rapid downfall of one of the greatest super teams in WNBA history? Because one thing's for sure, everyone who left is going to be thriving.
Bailey taught her that a winning team should, quote, look, sound, and feel a certain way. I gotta tell you, there's a lot that one could take out of that right there. Wilson said that the Aces didn't meet those standards.
Imagine leaving a team excited for a fresh start, new opportunities, and maybe even a little peace of mind. Then, out of nowhere, Aja Wilson starts throwing shade like it's a total eclipse. She really sat there and basically said, "So you all left Kelsey Plum and Sydney Colson? That's fake. Excuse me, ma'am. Do you pay their bills? Do you sign their contracts? Or are you just upset because not everyone wants to be part of your Aces clique?" It's giving bitter ex-vibes, as if she thought something special existed. It's like she's asking, why would you leave me? Here's the thing, Aja. Not everyone wants to stay in Vegas under your spotlight. Some people like a change of scenery, a breath of fresh air. Some prefer teams that don't feel like high school drama. Honestly, the way she put it was just straight up rude. Imagine being excited for a new chapter, then hearing Aja Wilson throw those jabs, questioning your loyalty like she's the official leader of the WNBA.
Vegas, we got the dub. Heading back. See y'all on Tuesday.
Let's talk about that MVP real quick because, Aja sure make sure everyone knows she won it. We get it. You got the trophy. Congrats. That doesn't make you the moral authority of the league. You don't get to decide who stays, who leaves, or who's still worthy of your little Aces friendship bracelet. And let's take a moment to acknowledge that hypocrisy here. If the Aces had picked up someone from another team, would Aja be talking about loyalty? Nope. She'd be celebrating like it's another Vegas pool party. But when players leave her team, suddenly it's all about you all left Kelsey and Sydney.
All right, the Indiana Fever just did it again. And what I told you, they was not done yet. They just found Caitlin Clark, backup point guard, and Sydney Colston, who will be playing in Athletes Unlimited this week. She came from the Aces. She signed a 1-year deal with the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever are on a mission, and they are not stopped.
That double standard is insane. Honestly, Aja, you're not the commissioner. You're just another player. And last time I checked, basketball is still a professional sport.
The Fever with breaking news. Can y'all stop, please? Sydney Colson, another big signing. They got their backup point guard, a 2-time champion, so now they got even more past champions on their team. Indiana Fever ain't playing around. They are not messing around. They getting their starting 5 together and they backups. Now you got legitimate points coming off the bench. Now you got a legitimate point guard that's not going to turn the ball over like Erica Wheeler did most of the time. Erica Wheeler admitted.
Guys, today the Indiana Fever have dominated and have won the WNBA offseason, WNBA free agency. It's not done yet. In fact, free agency and the offseason has just begun. But with the moves that Kelly Krauskopf has made, with the moves that Amber Cox has made,